Welcome to YouTube Pro Series. We are live for the very first time. We are here in this beautiful YouTube space, LA. I'm Rachel Lightfoot, and tonight we're talking about branding. What is branding? How did we come to value brands as businesses and individuals? Well, back in the olden days, to brand something meant to literally emblazon your name or your logo on your livestock to show that it was yours. And over time, those symbols came to be associated with quality and consistency. Today, brand agencies would probably define the term as an intangible asset that implies emotion, a relationship, and a set of expectations between businesses and their consumers. And tonight, we'll be talking to some of YouTube's foremost experts on the subject of branding. Specifically, we'll be speaking with 4 YouTube creators who have, whether intentionally or not, built really strong brands on and off YouTube. With that, let's meet our first panelist. You may know her best as the creator and star of the hit web series The Guild. She's the ultimate geek girl who over the last year has garnered over 1 million subscribers across her multiple channels. Let's see what Felicia Day has been up to.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Co-optitude.
And I'm Felicia.
I'm Ryan. This is your time to shine.
You know I'm good at this.
Hello, I'm Day 9 and welcome to Spell Slingers.
I don't care about the merfolk. They have their tridents and their flipper faces.
Roll me a 7, it's statistically unlikely. Here comes a 7.
Nice to see you.
We're right here, you know.
So you are nice to see you.
Everyone, let's welcome Felicia Day. Good to see you. So Felicia, obviously over time you've grown many successful brands, but the one that I'm so curious about tonight is your book club. What can you tell us about Vaginal Fantasies?
Well, it's a book club that my mom thought was inappropriate when I first started it, so that's, I guess, a win. And there's always people wandering into the live stream that say, hey, this isn't what I thought it was. So it's a book club for the kind of books that I love to read on my off time. It's like kind of like my reality TV. They're romance books with always like a genre twist, like kind of like Twilight with more naughty bits. So I created the book club because I love reading, and when Google Hangouts started, they gave me the opportunity to start before anybody else, and I was like, this is a great way to create a group around something I love and be able to share it with my friends and my audience.
Awesome. Awesome, and yay for Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
Our next guest has started her entertainment career as a circus juggler. But after discovering YouTube back in 2006, she's traded in peanuts for subscribers and has amassed a moosh army of over 1 million fans. And hopefully we'll find out more about what a moosh army is later. Let's watch a mashup of OlgaKay's recent work.
I'm OlgaKay. Hey!
Don't listen to her, she's crazy.
What is cuddling?
Ew.
Hello, trolls.
What's your real name? I'm Razorblade.
Oh, yeah? See how perfect that turned out? Kind of.
Why? Don't be slutty.
Everyone, please welcome OlgaKay. I love you. So Olga,
Yes.
I'm dying to know, what has being a part of a circus taught you about building a brand and a business?
Oh my gosh, probably the similarities are work ethic. When I was in a circus, I was 14, so I would go to school, I would rehearse for 8 hours, and then I would do a show and then go back to school. So when I started on YouTube, I realized that it's a little bit of the same. You do everything yourself, so it's 24/7.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. All right, our next guest is the producer and host of Vsauce2, a YouTube channel with over 2 million subscribers, which celebrates amazing human feats over a variety of shows. Let's take a glimpse at those shows on Kevin Lieber's channel.
Vsauce, Vsauce, Vsauce,
Vsauce!
Hey, Vsauce.
Vsauce.
Vsauce. Kevin here. This is Mind Blow. This is BDP. Build it. IBM is working on a new computer prototype fueled by electronic blood. Baby lion fact. Baby bear fact. Baby rhino fact. Vsauce, we finally have spreadable beer. So yeah, let's move on. Tuna eyeballs. 3D printed personalized toothbrush. I'm a moth and here I am. I'm a moth and now I'm a tree. And as always, and as always, and as always, thanks for watching.
Please give a warm welcome to Kevin. There he is. Kevin, recently you started an Instagram account, and I follow you, of course.
Thank
but
you.
I noticed that you didn't use the Vsauce name or branding anywhere. Was this a conscious decision to brand yourself apart from Vsauce? Or are you trying to hide from your viewers?
I'm trying
What's
to
the deal?
hide from my viewers. No, not at all. Yeah, it was an opportunity for me to basically have a different and potentially closer relationship with the fans, because through Vsauce they expect science stuff and biology and animals and fun stuff like that. But I like other things than robots too. I like sports and music and playing guitar. So yeah. That was the idea behind it. And
Sure,
thank you for following me.
Yeah, of course. Everyone should follow Kevin Lieber. And as sort of a follow-up to that, really quickly, what would you say are the pros and cons of branding yourself as Kevin Lieber versus Vsauce, your YouTube channel?
Well, the pros are that I own the name Kevin Lieber. I mean, no matter what happens, I'm always going to be Kevin Lieber. So, that's the most important thing. Our other panelists, their brands are representative of their names. My name's not Vsauce2, and I thought it would be probably a good idea to build a Kevin Lieber brand as well.
Sure. Excellent. Well, last but certainly not least, she's one of YouTube's top female personalities with over 3 million subscribers across her channels. Let's take a look at the wonderful world of iJustine.
Hey, I'm Justine. Welcome to my channel. I make all kinds of videos. Anything from music video parodies, videos about Apple and technology, video games, an occasional beauty and style video. It smells like Hawaii. Who's going to the club? I'm going to the club. And many more. Just click the link below to watch all of the things.
Everyone, please welcome Miss Justine. How are you? So, Justine, welcome. Your first big YouTube video was about your outrageous iPhone bill.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Tell us how you sort of evolved or pivoted from that point as being known as like the Apple geek girl to growing your own unique brand.
Well, I think it's hard because I still feel like I'm still sort of that Apple girl, but I love video games and technology, and trying to evolve that has been difficult, especially choosing my name is iJustine, so no matter what that login is that you guys are creating, it usually doesn't go away. So make sure you do choose wisely. But I mean, it's been a really fun ride.
Excellent, excellent. Well, all right, you guys ready to dive in?
Yeah.
Let's talk about some branding. So, brands are often defined as an intersection between a conversational topic and a belief system. And on YouTube, this would probably translate to the ongoing conversation that you're having with your viewers on your channels and how they would describe that unique spin that you put on the topic. So keeping topicality and this unique perspective in mind, Justine, maybe you can start. Tell us how you would define your brand in that sense.
I think my brand, it kind of encompasses everything from entertainment, technology, pop culture, and kind of ties it all into one. And I think for me, a big choice that I made from the very beginning was to keep my content clean and very family friendly. And I mean, that's been very hard trying to evolve, because a lot of kids are like, why are you not doing this? Or why aren't you talking about this? And it's a constant choice that I've made, and it's been consistent since I've started.
Excellent. Kevin, what about you?
Well, there are 3 main Vsauce channels, and the overall philosophy is to be hyper curious about our world and the human experience in general, and also delivering ideas and facts in a concise and entertaining way. On Vsauce2, the tagline is "People are amazing," so I try to take a closer, specific look at the great things that people are doing, whether it's in science or technology or new inventions. And just in general, I feel like we're typically inundated with drama and scandal in the news, and there are some cool things going on also, and I try to talk about that on Vsauce2.
Awesome. And Olga, define your brand.
Well, unlike Justine, I made a conscious decision to make my channel really dirty from the beginning.
It's all right. It's YouTube. Anything goes.
Yeah. So, well, my brand is my personality, and everything that I have passion for, it comes through my videos, whether it's, I can't say music parodies, but I've done some of those, but whether it's, you know, I usually draw from my personal life experiences and I put it in my videos, trying to find messages that teenagers can relate, because in the beginning of the YouTube game, I realized that it's a teenage audience. And so I've been doing that ever since, even though I'm trying to clean up a little bit. It's been tough.
Bravo. All right, and Felicia, in a few words, how would you define your YouTube brand?
Well, I guess I have a lot of different things to manage. I got the opportunity with Geek and Sundry to create sort of an umbrella that would hopefully encompass all the different shows that I want to make or be in, and each one of those shows is a brand in itself.
Sure.
So it's sort of like a nesting egg of different brands and shows, and to me, like, I just always wanted to epitomize, you know, independent, quirky, geek spirit, sort of like the grassroots Comic-Con fan, on the level of, on a personal level, not on the bigger, you know, popcorn blockbuster level. And then for me personally, I don't really think of myself as a brand. I just try to, you know, represent what I feel truly, and hopefully that's always changing as a person. I'm always growing, but at the core of it, things remain consistent.
That's great. Yeah. So like what Kevin was saying is you'll always have Felicia Day, the brand, your own personal brand, in addition to this umbrella.
Exactly.
This Geek and Sundry.
Exactly. And that's just me as a person and what I like and my enthusiasm, and hopefully that comes through in the things that I do.
I think so. I think it does. Good job. So now we have a question from the guys over at AV Byte in New York. They have a question for the whole panel.
Hey, we are the AV Byte Brothers! So when we started our channel, it was initially going to be VFX meets the musical, but we quickly scrapped the whole VFX thing and went with just musicals. So, you guys, when did you figure out, like, oh, this is my brand? Did you upload your videos with that brand in mind? Or did that sort of just happen naturally over time? Thanks!
Excellent question. Excellent question.
Crystal loved those guys.
Yeah, their stuff is great.
Aren't they great?
I wish
So
they lived
talented.
here. I want to be in one
They were
of their
here
videos.
in person in this room. That would be great.
That would be, no, they're not really here.
Yeah, this
Are
is
they
not
here?
that
Are
kind
they
of show,
upstairs? Okay.
Yeah, excellent question. Justine, maybe we can start with you. I mean, you certainly have a lot of different brands across your gaming space, your beauty space. Is this something that you did consciously from the get-go when you first uploaded your first YouTube video, or did it just kind of evolve over time?
Well, I think when many of us first uploaded our first YouTube videos, it was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna just post something and see what happens. So I think sometimes there still is that thought process, which is what makes YouTube amazing. You can upload things, you can see what works, you can see what doesn't work, and the audience is very quick to tell you what they like and what they don't like. And that can be a blessing, or that can be an absolute nightmare, because sometimes they like things that you aren't necessarily passionate about, which is one of the things that, you know, I started a gaming channel because I loved video games and I was putting all of my time and spending all of my time playing them. And people are like, why aren't you posting videos? I'm like, well, look at my Call of Duty hours log. That's why there's no videos. So being able to combine things that I really love and make videos about it, I mean, it really is like a perfect storm.
Awesome, awesome. What about anybody else? Did anybody go into this YouTube channel with the idea of building a brand from scratch, or organic all around?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I just started my show, The Guild, and I saw how people responded to it, and I was as enthusiastic about the way they responded to it as, you know, they were, and that sort of fed a really awesome thing. And I think it's important. You said earlier about what is a brand, and it's like what your idea is and what you stand for. And I think it's important to figure that out before you start, because if you get successful doing something you really don't like, then you're not going to enjoy it, and you're not going to be able to grow it or keep doing it with any enthusiasm, because you need to make sure it's meaningful to you. So that's why when people ask me like, hey, I want to start vlogging, what should I talk about? You know, you should talk about something that you would talk about to your friends.
What you're actually passionate about.
Exactly. That doesn't feel like work, because it's a lot of work to do anything, no matter what scale a video is. It's hard work.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Great advice. All right, well, there are a couple of classic brand building techniques that many of you are already employing quite naturally in your programming. This is iconography and lingo, or a special catchphrase that you use with your audience. So tell us the importance of having this lingo or iconography for your community. And maybe we should start with moosh, because how did this moosh face start, Olga?
So I started without thinking about what my brand is, but for some reason I knew back in 2008 that I needed some kind of a cult word. So I always say brand is like a cult, and you have cult following and you have a cult leader. So I used to do lots of live streams, and I was just talking to my audience, and I said, we need to come up with a word that represents something about me or us or something. And I have a cat, her name is Mushka, and every time they would watch me do live shows, I would be like, Moosh, Moosh, come here, Moosh, Moosh. And so they said, why don't we use Moosh? So originally we started using Moosh as replacing bad words. Yeah, and they were like, shut that Moosh up. And then all of a sudden they didn't mean anything bad, even though intention is still there. So they could say that, you know, they could watch my videos and not get in trouble with their parents. So then they started calling me a moosh mommy, which I thought was weird. And it's still really weird when I go to gatherings and somebody who is a lot older than me comes up to me and say, hi, moosh mommy. Like, this is weird, what did I create? And then organically they started calling themselves Moosh Army and Moosh Soldiers. So for me it was, at that time, I think it was 2 years ago, when I realized that I have to trademark moosh, so nobody can use it.
Wow, so it's actually trademarked.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
so
love
now, I mean, moosh is everything. I created moosh shoes, and I've created, this is not them, although it is so cool. And so now I'm working on a Moosh World website, which is the most exciting thing that I've created in the last seven years that I've been on YouTube. And mooshworld.com is the site where everyone can, you know, get together as a Moosh Army and share thoughts.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we'll have to check that out. Speaking of the Moosh Army, I think that we have another sort of army on the panel. The Vsauce Army is what the viewers of the Vsauce channels call themselves too, right, Kevin?
We're gonna go to battle.
They call themselves that, which is endearing and fantastic, but that's not a moniker that we gave them, which I think is an important distinction to make.
Yeah.
We want Vsauce to be everyone, to be, you know, everybody in this room, everybody that has an internet connection should be Vsauce. So
you're part of the Vsauce Army.
Right, there's no secret password to get into Vsauce. We don't have any code or anything like that. We do have some lingo, like you mentioned. Some of our shows have weird names, like BDP, for instance. That's not a real word.
Yeah, what is that?
I made that up. It means build it, draw it, play it. It's an acronym. But I explain that at the beginning of every episode, so whether you watch episode 1 or episode 40, you know what it is, and you're inside, right, the club. You didn't have to like figure anything out.
I love that. So you're giving everybody an in.
Everybody, yeah, because why not? And to go back a second to AV Bytes' question, I would say Vsauce started as a video game channel, doing top 10 lists and parodies. If you go back to one of the earliest videos, it's Mario Farts. And it's just a video of Mario farting. That's it. It has 1 million views, but still, it didn't exactly set the world on fire intellectually. But when I started on YouTube, I was making cartoons of anthropomorphic potatoes vomiting. That's it. That's what I was doing. That's how I started on YouTube. And now I make videos about robots and science. So the point is, it's really important to adapt and to grow and to learn that sometimes as a creator you can get stuck in what you think is really good and maybe other people don't, but instead of continuing to try to convince people to get on your page, you should think about getting on their page first and then making that your own, injecting your personality into arenas that people are already in, because that's where they are and that's where you can find an audience.
Interesting. That's the same note, like there's audiences for everything, like absolutely everything. There may not be huge audiences, but I mean, you can find anything.
Yeah, how awesome is it that we have this tool, the internet, to find our people, no matter how strange they are.
If I was still making vomiting potato cartoons, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. That's the point. Yeah.
Hey, I wouldn't be so sure. I wouldn't be so sure. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about branding yourself versus branding your channel. We talked about this a little bit earlier with you, Kevin, but so many of you have multiple channels now on YouTube, and maintaining multiple channels in and of itself is quite a feat. But what is the process in bringing your own special something to each of these places? What are the challenges that you find? I mean, Felicia, maybe you can answer this. How much Felicia Day do we see in Geek and Sundry?
It's really interesting. You know, we've been releasing content for a year and a half now. And the first year there was quite a bit of me. But actually this last year I've been a little less present, because I think it's important to if you're creating an overall brand that's not based on one personality, for the long term of it, it can't hinge on just one person. Sure. So that's kind of important to me, and that's why I started the Geek and Sundry Vlogs channel, which was to discover new talent that could sort of expand the brand to more personalities. And you know, working with each of those new creators and their voices and helping them develop their own personal style and their own personal brands underneath the Geek and Sundry Vlogs has been a really fun process, just to help them find their voice and find an audience.
Awesome, awesome. And Justine, you certainly have a lot of different channels too. I mean, vlogging, gaming, you do it all. How do you bring that iJustine brand to each of these places consistently?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much me across all those channels, and if I were to do it again, I probably would not have had all those channels. But back in the day when I first started on YouTube, that was the easiest way to sort of segregate your content, was to start a new channel. Sure. Where now, I mean, there's playlists and there's so many different ways to kind of keep that all in one and still segregate it, but I kind of already started with that, so now I'm sort of stuck with it. But it's not really necessarily a bad thing, because I am able to keep my gaming separate, and I keep like the main channel, which is more shows, and then the other one is just straight unedited content, and the other is like sort of second channel that's not good enough for the first channel. So it gets a little crazy, but it's a lot of work.
Amazing, amazing. And Kevin, you mentioned earlier that you are 2 of 3 Vsauces. How is it that you coordinate with the other hosts, Michael and Jake? How do you bring that Vsauce element to all 3 of these channels? Do you guys have like meetings about this? You're like, yes, we're using this.
We have Power Ranger wristbands. And
I knew it.
No. We have almost complete independence on each channel. Vsauce2 is me, Michael is Vsauce, and Jake Roper is Vsauce3. And having ownership of those channels is incredibly important, because it gives that host and that producer an investment in what they're doing. And that shines through in the videos, and that makes the audience connect better with those people who really love and care about what they're talking about in the videos that they're making. In order to seamlessly unify them, there's some things that we do. We use the same font across all 3 channels. Our branding in terms of visual assets, like the banners, those are all the same, they're just different colors. Vsauce is green, I'm blue, and Jake is purple.
And was that something that you guys like consciously decided upon? Like, we all need a different color?
No. Well, when it first started, there was just Vsauce, and that was green, and Michael created that. And then he wanted to do some different types of videos, so we created Vsauce2, because a few years ago, that's like what you said, that's just what you did. You just created another channel. And then last year we decided that we really wanted to get into a third channel dealing with gaming and fictional worlds, and I just went through some colors and decided purple was the coolest
that was your
one.
spirit
yeah,
color.
that was the one to go for. Yeah, totally.
I love it. Excellent. So we actually have a question from an audience member. We have Paige from the Haunted Sunshine Girl channel. Paige, what is your question?
Hi, okay, so I wrote it down just in case I forgot it.
So did I.
Yeah, here it is. Okay, so when it comes to dividing your time between your content creation and your channel and brand management, what have you learned is the best ratio? What percentage of that time do you spend on each?
Oh, geez.
That's
I
tough.
think for me, it's sort of, I mean, I really struggle to do things that I don't like to do. So if I don't feel like doing a video that day, like I will at least have a backup video just in case something, for whatever reason, I'm traveling and I can't do that. But I mean, it is hard, but I don't think there's really a certain ratio. It's sort of, you kind of use like a gut feeling. Like I feel like, man, I should tweet this video out. This video is not good enough to tweet out, so I'm gonna hold back. So I think a lot of it is, you know, what you feel is right in that certain amount of time.
Yeah, and just in general, I feel like YouTube's job is 24/7, especially when Justine, how many channels? 4?
Yeah, I ditched the 5th one.
Okay, yeah.
Done.
So I originally started 7 channels. My dog has a channel and she does lots of tricks. And I'm like, I don't have time for that, even though it's cute. So I have 4 channels that I work on 24/7, but then sometimes I get really tired of what I'm working on, and I just decide to revamp all of my pages and make sure they all match. So I would spend 2 or 3 days just doing that. And then obviously I don't upload videos. Felicia and I were talking in the green screen. We're like, how do you delegate control and power for other people to do what you do? How do you duplicate yourself? And she gave me some good advice. But I'm still struggling with that. How do I find people that do certain things that I don't want to do so I can concentrate on branding and other things?
That's the hard thing too, is because like a vlog is so personal. If I'm to give that to someone else to edit, I feel like it's not a part of me anymore.
Right.
But whereas like different types of shows and like higher production, like that's something that I'm totally fine with somebody editing. But if I'm talking to a camera and talking to that audience, you know, I mean, I just feel like that's something that I forever will want to edit because I like put my heart and my soul into it. But bigger productions and bigger things, I mean, those are the things that I feel like you can let go of because there isn't enough time in the day to do it all.
Yeah, at some point you just have to. You can't do it all.
I would recommend working 99.9% on making the best video that you possibly can, because you don't want it to be your job to tell other people to watch your video. You want to make something that's so awesome that they want to share it with their friends, and that's how you get the views, and that's how you get the audience, and that's how things go viral. People always say, how do you make a viral video? Make an awesome video, and then, you know, the virus will spread. That's how viruses spread. Yeah, exactly. You don't create it. So
that's actually very true, because I mean, even like I have like a YouTuber list, and I feel like that's all people are doing is tweeting out their videos, and I hardly ever actually tweet my videos out. Like every once in a while, if it's one that I'm like, I think this is an okay video, like I want to share this one, but I'm very picky about it. And even my sister, she never tweets out her videos at all, and then one day she did. I was like, you just tweeted your video. She's like, yeah, I like this one. So it's something that you might not be proud of every video that you post, but you know, you never know who's going to see it, which is the crazy thing. Because even like an iPhone channel, some unedited videos, it's something that you think you're only talking to like a couple people, and then something like that goes viral. You're like, shoot, why?
Wasn't planning on that. Great, so I've got a hot topic. Let's talk about collaborating on YouTube. Obviously, we know that collaborating with other YouTubers is a really great way to attract more eyeballs to your channel, right, and really grow your audience. But what are the challenges in trying to work with somebody who you think has a really similar brand, that you share a lot of audience, and there may be a lot of like brand overlap?
I think brand overlap is the best way to collaborate, because if your brands don't overlap, that means your audiences probably don't share the same interest, which means that they're probably not going to be as interested to click on that other video, and vice versa. I mean, my channel is very geek oriented, and you know, I don't know if necessarily somebody who's doing only beauty is going to have a lot of audience who's going to be like, hey, that channel's really cool, and then vice versa. Oh, I want to go check out that person's channel. So I think it's to everybody's advantage if you have overlapping audience, to do collabs together, it's probably the better priority in my book.
Sure.
Agreed.
Definitely. You agree as well?
Absolutely.
Never felt competitive?
No. No.
No. Excellent.
It's not a competition. It's, you know, it's Hoteling's law. It's basically the more people that you can get in, the more that everybody benefits from. That's why fast food chains are all next to each other, right?
Yeah.
Is that why?
Not
I
an
wondered.
accident. That McDonald's and Burger King and Taco Bell are across the street from each other. It's math.
You just blew my mind.
Okay, well, watch my show called Mind Blow on Vsauce2. All right, there's your plug.
Unintentional plug.
Yeah, exactly. So no, the more people that you can get into the YouTube bubble, the more it raises up everybody. So.
Well, that is the spirit, right?
The hardest part is like scheduling. It's like I'll email somebody, be like, I'm gonna be out of town for the next 5 months. I'm like, oh, okay. And then people email me, I'm like, I'm not gonna be in town either. But what was really cool is for the YouTube Music Awards, they had a bunch of us in New York, and we were all in like the YouTube Next Up, like the little lab, and it was so fun because there was just a bunch of us. And it was a really weird thing. A bunch of YouTubers just sitting next to each other, and I'm like, I need somebody to do this. Who wants to do it? And we'd run outside, shoot it, edit it in, and it was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
And I feel like the same thing for people in LA. YouTube Space LA, everyone is here. We have lots of people from Amplify program. Where are you? Are you here? Everyone's you can make noise. Woo! So YouTube Space LA is a great place. I usually come here 3 times a week, and I would be going shooting my own show down the hallway, and people that I don't know, they're like, hey, 3 minutes, you have 3 minutes, come with us. I'm like, what are we doing? And I'm doing a collab with somebody. So it's a good place to be.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and take a question from one of our viewers.
Yeah.
Do we have a viewer question? We're doing this live show, guys. I think that there are some people with comments
They're
out
probably
there.
screaming in the comments
No?
section.
All right. We have a viewer comment right here, right now.
So I'm wondering, if you had to do it again, you would have one channel and different aspects of your channel, so you could just be on the one channel and have your beauty and have your comedy and everything that you're all doing?
Yeah, definitely. I think the only thing
Can you repeat the question? Sorry for everybody else.
She wanted to know if I could do it again, would I just start one channel? The only thing that I would do differently is I probably would have a gaming channel because it is so completely different. I mean, there's still gaming aspects in kind of all of my channels, but I mean, watching gameplay videos is not for everyone, so you don't want to kind of just overload your other audience with just that. Although, I mean, gameplays are pretty hot on YouTube.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed.
I gotta disagree, only because when you create a lot of content on the same channel, I feel like some people that don't like specific content, and that's the reason why I started all of my other channels, because people were getting really upset that I would post videos just talking to the camera or doing beauty tutorials. So I had to separate it because I didn't want to piss off my core audience.
I think it's kind of, the construction of YouTube is very hard in that respect because audience does not move between channels very easily. But you know, like Geek and Sundry has a lot of different shows, and some of the shows overlap with audience very exactly, but some of them, just like my gaming show, doesn't overlap with tabletop necessarily. It's not the same exact audience. So it's kind of, would it be better each show on its different channel? Well, then you're not investing in a long-term thing, because if that show goes away, like the Guild channel has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but this show is not broadcasting anymore, so that's not audience that can be reached anymore, because you don't want to just put another random show on that channel. Right. So it's kind of a problem in a way, and I guess you just have to trust your gut.
Yeah, that's another question that I wanted to ask you is what was that migration process like from the Watch the Guild channel over to Geek and Sundry? You had a video up to let your viewers know that you wanted them to go to this new location. Was that challenging? Did a lot of them go over?
I think that they did transfer over, but they were angry about it.
See, they get angry.
They get very angry, but they were supportive after. They're like, but it is, you know, it is hard to see a show that is on the same channel and people are like, I don't like this show. I only watch for these other 4 shows. And it's like, well, it's only one show you don't have to click on. I'm sorry. But so it is kind of, I think it is complicated. So I would personally say just make sure, you know, if you do different things, like Justine said, make sure they do overlap. So that audience is probably going to like that other topic.
Sure.
It's just so hard because you put so much effort into building a channel and then you have multiple. And I know if I put as much effort into, instead of managing 4 or 5 channels, and I put that into my one channel, I mean, I could probably have some better content, but instead I'm trying to divide my time amongst all of the other ones. So I mean, I guess it's really a personal preference and what you train your audience to expect. I mean, the people watching my stuff, they don't know what to expect. They don't know when I post. They don't know what's going on. So I think that's maybe sort of the appeal. They're like, man, I think she's gonna post something today. I just feel it.
At least like they might come back.
They might. They're like, just refreshing. She said she was gonna post today. What happened? Yeah, not yet.
Cool. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about branding off YouTube. Clearly, YouTube is a big part of your overall branding strategy, but I doubt that's the only place that you spend your time engaging with fans and really nurturing your brand. So besides YouTube, where else are you guys spending time online really developing your brand?
Instagram.
Instagram? Anyone else on
Well, this
Instagram?
is just a personal connection to the fans.
I mean, Geek and Sundry has Tumblr. We have a website that we're building out more and more. We have Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. You kind of have to be wherever your audience is.
And you have to be everywhere at the same time, just in case something takes off.
Yeah, because it's very hard to reach audience now. It's almost like all the social media is oversaturated to the point where you can't even see what you want to see anymore. That's not only goes for Twitter, but like your subscription feed, your Tumblr feed. Like the longer you're on social media, the more you sort of accumulate people and things. And unfortunately, scaling that in a way that you get to consume the things you actually want to consume, it's almost a challenge. So it's almost a better probability the more places you are, you can reach your audience.
Great. Does anybody have multiple social media accounts? Like you do multiple YouTube channels? Like, does anyone have a different Facebook page for each of your channels, or a different Google Plus page for?
Hells no. That's already hard enough.
I did start an Instagram account because I do a show, IJ Likes. It's like just stuff that I liked for the week, and I was like, nope.
No, not happening.
Not
It's
starting
plenty.
this trend.
Yeah,
again.
it's hard to switch back and forth between app as well on your mobile device.
I was doing it on like an iPod Touch that I had, so I was like, this is going to be the IJ Likes Instagram, and then I'm carrying around like my phone, and no, like that's just taking it too far. I think if you overcomplicate things, you don't want to do it yourself. And I mean, it's too much.
Yeah, so definitely agree with that. You know, you should try to be everywhere, because why not? These things are free, these apps are free, and the audiences are there. But in general, I would suggest doing and focusing on the one that feels the less like work to you. So if you're a very extroverted person and you're constantly going to cool places and taking pictures, you know, maybe Instagram just seamlessly fits into your lifestyle. If you're like me and you don't go outside, and you don't have great pictures to show because you've taken enough of your dog already, then maybe Twitter is better because you can find stuff online and then link people to things. So.
Excellent, great advice, great advice. So Casey from Shot Science is here in our audience, and he has a question for all of you.
Hi, so you guys kind of talked about this a little bit before, but with such a diverse social media landscape, how do you strategize your approach?
Well, sometimes I don't really strategize. It's a lot of trial and error and a lot of like figuring out times, because it is such an international, like YouTube, like it's everywhere. So it's like if I tweet now, people in England are never going to see this tweet. If I tweet now, no one in Norway is going to even see this. So it's so weird, because then you think, okay, a lot of my audience is younger, so I know they're probably going to be getting out of school in the States right now, so maybe I'll try it now. And it really is, a lot of it is just trying things, and if it works, add it to the sticky note, do that again.
Yeah, and then do it again later when everyone else wakes up in Russia.
All right, and we have another audience question. Rachel from Rachel's English channel. What's your question?
Hi, so we spend a lot of time building a brand. What parameters do you use when you're trying to put a value on that? I'm having a really hard time with that, dealing with a sponsored post or maybe licensing your videos. I have no idea where to start. Is it just numbers, or is there something else that you take into account?
It's just your personal temperature. It depends on what you feel comfortable doing. Like my personal accounts, I've never taken like, nobody's ever like paid me to do stuff like that. I don't have a problem with anybody else doing it like that. It's just, that's my personal space, Obviously Geek and Sundry is different because I created an umbrella that's not just me personally. So I think it just depends. And then I've done videos with sponsored things in them. So it just depends on what feels good to you, because you don't want to do something that your audience doesn't feel like good in a way. I don't know. It's just your gut. You have to go with your gut.
All right. Oh, would you have something to add?
Well, just more of the same. If you like something, why not team up with another brand, a company, and create something together? And I always look at it as a branding content. You just have more budget to play with to create something better.
That segues nicely into my next question. Let's talk a little bit about merchandising. Which products will you support if approached, and why?
I will not support condoms.
What?
Like at all? At all, or like OlgaKay branded? Sending some mixed messages here to our audience.
Well, I feel like
Kevin's taking beef with
Kevin,
that.
I think
I'm very concerned, Olga. Where are we going with this?
It's hilarious.
I was just trying to break the ice.
Is this really intervention? Did we just?
Although safe sex is great.
All right. So
it's probably something that if I were just going out and getting like, I would talk about that anyway.
Right.
Like, that feels okay. That was something I think my audience would be interested in, no matter if we were working with them on a formal basis or not. And there's a lot, like, especially in geek culture, like there's stuff everybody loves. Like, we want to talk about things.
Right. I mean, a lot of you guys have like T-shirts and like, tote bags. Olga, do you want to talk about your socks a little bit?
Yes,
I mean,
I would
how do you
love to
decide?
talk about my socks. So I actually haven't talked about it yet. So yeah, across the YouTube platform, everyone has T-shirts or hats or what else do we have? Well, I created shoes a couple of years ago. So I wanted, and those usually, other companies that are well established, they just want to bring other creators on board, and then you just make a small percentage of that business. Where with my socks, I wanted to create something that is my own. I would even do the fulfillment in the beginning and see how it goes. And creating it from scratch, not taking anybody else's product and putting my logo on it, but creating something from scratch with the designers and manufacturing it myself and see how difficult it is. And it's really difficult, but I feel like at the end of the day, I will own a piece that is mine and I'll forever have it and hopefully grow it into something bigger.
Awesome, cool. We have another audience question. Reb from Pancake Manor is here. Reb, what's your question?
Yeah, how do you keep your merchandise relevant, and how do you get your fans or army or cult excited about it?
Well, right now we just redesigned the t-shirt logos for Christmas. And it's my dog wearing a Christmas hat and it says Happy Christmas. So I feel like doing things like that will engage your audience to keep coming back to your shop and see what's new. But as far as, well, I also have a Moosh logo, so that's just, if you're a new viewer, you might not know about it. You will find out.
You will find out.
You will find out. I'm the cult leader.
Cool. So those of you who have created merchandise, I'm curious to know, what are the questions that a retailer has asked you? What is it about your brand that they want to make sure that they include in these products or this merchandise that is associated with you?
I think it just has to be something that like I would be using myself. I mean, like I had a line of like iPhone battery chargers and cases and little like iPhone controlled helicopters and stuff like that. So this is stuff that I thought was cool, and then I thought everyone else would like, and especially having the name iJustine, like having these Apple products, it was like a perfect fit.
Awesome, perfect fit. I like that. Did anybody else have an experience incorporating your brand into some sort of product, and how much say did you have?
I mean, I think there have been some catchphrases or something from various shows I've done. And I think it just goes back to, like, you feel a joy of your audience and they request a lot of things. And it's just like working with brands on any level, whether they're working with you on a video or social media or like your t-shirt, like the audience understands that you're trying to make the best stuff, right? And they're supporting you directly by, especially with merchandise, there's a direct connection there. So I think it gives them a sense of including and being a part of, like you said, the army or whatever. It's kind of
cult.
It is the cult. Sorry,
Army, the cult.
Well, Vsauce actually recently did a collaboration with Jamie Oliver, the world-renowned chef.
Yes.
He has a great YouTube channel and wanted to do something with Vsauce. And Michael had the idea of, okay, instead of just being in each other's videos, which would be kind of typical, why don't you make Vsauce, Jamie Oliver, you amazing chef? Make an actual sauce. Yeah,
awesome.
and that people could use and buy and call it Vsauce, and it'll be green and it'll be nutritious and have, you know, brain food in it.
Wow.
And he was like, great. They were so excited about it. So they're working on that. You will eventually be able to actually eat Vsauce.
This is amazing. Have you tasted it? Do you
No,
guys?
it's in London.
production.
It's in London.
Let's
so,
go.
Let's all go to London.
Just get on a plane.
Let's pick up. Let's
Yeah.
pick up. But actually, we are done here. I want to thank all of our panelists for joining us today. We're so happy to have Justine. Give a round of applause. And Kevin, and Olga, and absolutely Felicia. Thank you so much to everybody who is watching online. If you are watching online, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for more Pro Series videos. That's it for us here at the YouTube Space LA. I'm Rachel Lightfoot. Have a great night. How are you?